not so new. When we were under Clayton and Brian Brooks instead of Gensler and friends, they were already, I mean, Brooks, especially the OCC, they were making very bold statements, writing letters saying that banks would be able to custody these assets, that banks could start experimenting with stablecoins rather than SWIFT. We've just seen that paused under a new regime. But that was already a narrative in the United States, even up until maybe a year ago, that stablecoins were going to be a superior way for legacy banks to operate.
Well, and that because, okay, so, and this is a deep rabbit hole. I mean, under Clayton's leadership, the SEC was balanced, measured, consistent, prudent, intelligent. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't hear those adjectives attributed to that organization today.
So often.
And something changed, and we all know what it is, and we all know how it happened. And you know, the interconnections between politics and the current regime. And look, I shouldn't criticize the organization that regulates me because I don't want a proctology exam.
But I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah.
But I mean, but here's the thing: I can acknowledge good leadership, and I should, in a free world, be able to point out bad leadership. And the U.S. right now has bad leadership in a lot of ways, and we're making our position that should have been at the forefront and a leadership role really weak, and that's sad. And I think Japan and Korea and China and Russia are going to come out on top.
I don't know if you have to leave, but I'm going to.
I do. I
30 minutes.
I appreciate you letting me come hang and riff with you. And now I have to go do some work. But I'd rather do this. I would.
Yeah, you and me both. This is work. I think technically for me, not like I'm getting paid, but
no, this isn't work. Look, if you get to do what you love, it's not work, right? It's fun, and so every time I get to hang with you is fun. I got to go talk about logistics of travel planning for our China fund, but that's not fun. But
that sounds super fun.
Oh no, it's not fun. But anyway, we'll do. I will see you soon. Again, thanks for having me on. No. And I wish the continued riffing to be even more fun than this was.
I will. Thank you, man.
See you, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, Mark literally hit me up like 10 minutes. He was like, "You want me to hang out for 30 minutes?" I said, "Hell yeah, I want you to hang out for 30 minutes." It makes my job so much easier when someone like Mark Yusko comes on and is able to talk about what's happening here in the news. Now on to that Binance fund that I mentioned earlier. Binance moved 1.8 in stablecoin collateral to hedge funds last year. Forbes. This meant that over $1 billion worth of tokens called BPEG USDC. No one wants to get BPEG'd. Digital replicas of dollar peg stablecoin USDC were uncollateralized despite Binance's claims that they were 100% backed. Now, this is so much to unpack when you dive into this. First of all, it's largely FUD the way that it was presented. Forbes basically in their article saying that this was exactly what FTX was doing. They were moving 1.8 billion to hedge funds, blah, blah, blah. Largely to Cumberland. A bit went to Alameda, actually, and to a number of other hedge funds. That was the claim. First of all, totally different than what was happening with FTX because FTX was moving the money to their own hedge fund, right? So Binance has no ownership in Alameda, had no ownership in Cumberland. So it's an entirely different story, even if it is true. So that is a false equivalency, just to throw that out from the very beginning. But if it is true that these assets became unbacked, that is problematic. But when you dig in, what's more likely, even if that is true, which I have my doubts about, it seems that likely what was happening was that they were then backing the access with BUSD instead of USDC. Now that's become problematic. But we all know, and it's been very transparent, that Binance was taking all of their USDC, getting rid of those pairs, and pushing all the customers and any USDC into BUSDC. So that would not be a surprise. But Binance's chief strategy officer, Patrick Hillman, told Forbes the movement of money among wallets was common practice and not a problem. There was no commingling. There's wallets, and there is a ledger basically saying we move shit around all the time. Third-party on-chain analysts can be really good at their jobs, but they can also mislabel things, not understand what's going on. And as long as we're backed and people can withdraw, no problem. Now, I would say anecdotally, we've all seen Binance suffer arguably the worst stress test in history after FTX and all the FUD. And at no point has there been any question mark as to their operations or how they were able to redeem and for users to get their funds out. So we haven't really seen any of this realized. To me, this seems like, yet again, another major attack. Binance has admitted in the past that they had some issues with these things and were cleaning them up. So I think that it's hard to pin this on them right now from what I've read. Binance can't give its story straight on misplaced 1.8 billion USDC. The FUD is coming from inside the building. Yeah, there's been sort of slightly different narratives coming from different people. CZ saying it's flat out FUD. The other guy saying it's on a ledger. Another person saying that you can check the wallets. But to me, I'm going to just leave it right now as unsubstantiated, but always possible. Be careful. Bottom line, though, this all happened back in August, and there's no issue at the moment. The money all came back. The wallets are fully funded. Everything right now, even according to Forbes, is fully backed. Goldman Sachs says it's open to adding staff to digital asset team Bloomberg. The investment bank's tokenization